12 free crochet patterns from 2024. Hi there, I'm Cilla from Cilla Crochets, and I'm here to cheer you on throughout your crochet journey, no matter what stage you're at. In this video, I'm going to be sharing a bit of a roundup of all the patterns I designed and published on my blog in 2024. These are all free crochet patterns you can access. Of course, I have PDF published patterns as well in my online shops like Etsy, Ravelry, Ribbler, and Love Crafts. Can't forget that one. And hopefully you'll find a crochet project to add to your wish list in 2025. So a quick overview of 2024 from my perspective, design-wise. It was not as productive as I would have liked it to be. However, I still managed to publish 12 patterns in 2024. Equivalent to one pattern a month. It wasn't quite one pattern a month, but I did publish 12. So let's go through those now. Pattern 1 was the Lush Lime. I designed this because I wanted to design a quick, easy make in January that people could pick up if they wanted to. It is also a great little addition to my crochet fruit collection. I'll pop the link below to my blog post, which lists there's 11 of them now, 11 fruit, and they're all designed to look as a set. So just a really quick pattern to make. Pattern number 2 was this one here, Dante the Dragon. Now, I was so thrilled with how he turned out. I designed Dante because I wanted to try and design more celebration type crochet patterns last year, which I think I achieved. So Dante was designed for Chinese New Year and the Year of the Dragon. The one thing I will say is he's got lots of little bits, so he is made up of lots of pieces, so there is a little bit of sewing involved in making Dante, but the result is totally worth it. My pattern testers made some adorable ones in different colours like pink and purple and things like that, so I can also imagine Dante being made in a chunky chenille. I mean, that would end up quite a lot bigger because Dante here is made using a worsted weight yarn, so chunky would make his size significantly bigger, but it would be cool to see one. If anyone fancies making one, please send me a photo. I would love to see what he looks like. Pattern number 3 was for Easter. So this was in March, and I released this little one here first, called Percival the Phoenix. So he is part of my Eggy collections. So going back to 2022, I started making these little egg-shaped animals. And the first year I made them, it was the Eggy Paw Pals, which was a collection of 5 little animals, all that typically have paws. So dog, cat, etc. Anyway, so that was 2022. And then in 2023, I made the Eggy Farm Friends. So a collection of egg-shaped farm animals. And last year I decided to make 2, so Percival's the first one, Eggy Mythical Mates. So that was a 3rd collection, but I only got 2 created. So we've got Percival the Phoenix here, that's pattern 3. And then we've got Freya the Unicorn, which is also an Eggy Mythical Mate. And that was pattern number 4. Both were released in March. So they were published as separate patterns, so I'm counting them as 2, but they're part of the same collection. Pattern 5. So free crochet pattern number 5 was the Glorious Grapefruit. So this was another adaptation of a previous crochet project I made. So I have made a orange called the Optimal Orange, and this is just a larger version of the orange with a slightly different leaf that I took from another one of my patterns. I would probably change the colour if I were to make this one again. It's because I made the orange a few years before, and I wanted this to be quite a different colour to the orange that I made. But looking back, I think I would have actually swapped the colours around. But anyway, I really like the shape of this, and I think it looks like a grapefruit in the way of the size and the design. really quick, really easy make, and a great addition to the fruit collection. So that is pattern number 5. Pattern number 6. So I don't have the pattern or the project I made from my design, which was my 6th release in 2024. It was Millie the Monkey Lovey. Now, I designed this, published it, and gave it away to one of my friends who had a baby because I thought it would be an adorable, thoughtful gift. And I haven't made another one, and I should, and I will, probably this year, hopefully this year. But anyway, Millie the Monkey Lovey was another adaptation of a previous crochet pattern, which was Milo. So I basically used the same pattern for Milo's head, ears, mouth, etc., and then created a really cute blankie to go with Milo and the arms as well. This one was designed as part of a campaign I did with Hobby Yarn. So this was made with I think it was a DK yarn, whereas Millie the Monkey Lovey was made with an Aran or worsted weight cotton yarn. The other thing about Millie, which I'm really excited about, it was the first pattern I've released and basically started selling the PDF patterns of it immediately. Normally when I release a pattern, the free ones are used on my blog, but the PDF patterns aren't bought for like a couple months after. I think it's because the people that buy the PDF patterns are usually on the platforms like Etsy or something searching for a particular type of pattern, whereas my audience typically use, like on social media and whatnot, typically use the free patterns, which absolutely doesn't bother me either way. I've got ads on my website, so I get paid at the end of the day whether you use the free ones or you buy the PDF, so it's really about your preference for what type of pattern you prefer. But Millie, has sold really well this year, and that's unusual for me. So I was very excited by that, and I'd love to know why, if you've got any ideas. Maybe monkeys are just super popular. Maybe there aren't many monkey loveys out there. I'm not too sure, but I'd love your thoughts if you have any for me. Pattern number 7. Okay, so the 7th pattern I released in 2024 was the Tender Tomato. Again, another really quick and easy fruit crochet pattern. But I'm pleased with how this little one turned out. I think it looks like a tomato. The little leaves are very, I was going for the whole tomato vine kind of feel. It's as simple as that. So that one's free on my blog as well. Pattern number 8. So pattern number 8 has to be one of my favorite releases of 2024, and it is this squishy one here, Pluto, the Platypus. Now, I think this little one might fall over, so let me just move her over there. So Pluto was basically I used another previous pattern and adapted it to make Pluto. So the pattern I used was Phyllis the Platypus, which I released, I think, I want to say in 2022. I could be wrong. I'm, thinking about that on the top of my head, but Phyllis is a very small sized platypus. Give me 1 second and I'll show you the difference. This is Phyllis the Platypus, and I used her pattern to create Pluto. So this is an intermediate crochet pattern, and I wanted to make it a more accessible pattern. So I made it easier. You can see, for example, the feet and hands are less, or arm, I don't know what you call those, a lot easier. Flippers. I should look up the anatomy of a platypus so I can say these things properly. But anyway, her little hands and little feet are less complicated on Pluto. And also, the big difference is this one uses a DK yarn, whereas this one uses a chenille. But anyway, I really, really love the look of Pluto, and also, I think 2024 should be coined as my year of adaptations of crochet patterns, because I used a lot of previous ones to create new ones, which is really common with crochet designers. Something you may notice that crochet designers do a lot, it's a really good trick, is they make an animal that is popular, and then as soon as they know it's popular, they keep using that same shape, roughly, and adapting it into different animals, or different sizes. It's a great way for crochet designers just to make more patterns and make them more accessible to people. You know, not everyone wants to design their own amigurumi and they just want to follow a pattern. And that makes it easier for the designers to create more, so more people can have more patterns, essentially. More different types of patterns. So that brings me on to pattern number 9. Pattern 9 is Kim the Koala, which was also adapted from another pattern I made a couple of years ago. This is Kim the Koala, and you can see they're quite similar, but again, Kim's pattern, she's got little movable arms, movable legs, she's made in a DK yarn. Her pattern is intermediate, whereas Kim's is easy, and also made with the chunky chenille again. So the idea here was that I had some more complicated patterns that I wanted to make, you know, easier for people to use who maybe were beginners or not really used to crocheting amigurumi. I will say, however, I wouldn't recommend any beginners to start with chenille yarn, because chenille can make it hard to see your stitches, but also it can molt quite a lot, and that makes it really challenging when you're first starting out to crochet. So pattern number 10 I designed for Halloween, and it was Francis the Monster decoration. So this is obviously Frankenstein's monster. I wanted to give it a fun name, so it's called Francis. But this matches quite nicely with the Gwyn the Ghost decoration I made in 2023. This one's quite easy. All it is there's a front and a back that are crocheted in rows, so back and forth in rows instead of in rounds. The eyes and cheeks, however, are crocheted in the round. But it's a really fun little quick decoration for Halloween. Pattern number 11. So in November, I revisited Loveys and I designed this little elephant called Elsie the Elephant Lovey. She was made using a very similar pattern to Millie the Monkey Lovey that I released, I think, in May. So Millie had the same blanket, I think the same shape head, but obviously the arms are different because I wanted to make them look like little elephant legs, I should say, not arms. The trunk, you know, monkeys don't have trunks, elephants do, so Elsie has a little trunk, and of course the ears. So slightly different pieces, but all in all a very similar pattern to Millie, and just as cute, I think. But Elsie's pattern hasn't been as popular as Millie's, and I think that's because of the time of year of when I published her pattern. I know most people in November, especially crocheters, are very busy crocheting as many gifts as possible for people, or those who sell at markets, you know, are building up their inventory for all the Christmas markets that they're doing. So it's a very busy time of year for us crocheters, if not the busiest of them all. So that was pattern number 11. Pattern number 12 was my little Christmas pattern, which is Gerry the Gingerbread Man. I like this one because it's something different from everything else I've done this year. A lot of what I've done were, you know, old patterns that were adapted or similar shapes, like Elsie I just showed you before. But this one is completely unique. So he was made using a DK yarn. However, my pattern testers used Aran and it worked out just as well. I mean, it will because it's an amigurumi. Gauge does not matter as long as you go up in hook size if you go up in yarn weight. But this one is I would say, an intermediate pattern, probably because of the color changes, and it is worked, so the head, body and legs are all worked in one go. The arms are attached and the pieces are made separately, but if you're a fairly confident beginner, I think you'd be okay with this one too. So that brings me to the end of the roundup of 2024 crochet patterns that were published on my blog for free. Don't forget to head to the description below because I've got all the links to the free patterns there. So if you're after any of the patterns and would like to make them in 2025, make sure you check that description. If you've enjoyed this video, please do me a huge favour and hit the thumbs up. And if you'd like to see more crochet videos from me, I'll be releasing crochet patterns, tutorials, and just general crochet chat. Please do hit that subscribe button. Until next time, happy crocheting!